The Chicago Bears picking Kiran Amegadjie for our offensive line in the third round. It's so much better than you'd ever think. And in fact, this is absolutely huge for a reason no one's talking about. This is one of my absolute favorite players in the whole draft. And if you were watching earlier, I predicted this would be their pick. And besides being just a massive man at 6'5" and 323 pounds, he also has a trait that's absolutely the most important to GM Ryan Poles if you've been watching what's happening lately, and that's versatility. This versatility and what it brings is exactly why this pick is brilliant. And hey, what's up? This is Sean, Sports Talk Bears. If you love this material, join our positive community here, like and subscribe. Would love to have you a part of the family. So check this out. Even if Braxton Jones beats out Amegadjie for the starting job at left tackle, Amegadjie can then take the opportunity to learn behind him while also giving the Bears offensive line another critical piece at guard. And better yet, I think he's absolutely elite. I think he can definitely win the left tackle job. So could Braxton Jones possibly shift over to guard? I certainly think that's a possibility. Are you seeing the versatility? Are you seeing the fact that these guys on this line, they can all move into a different spot on the line whenever needed if situations during the season demands that it happens? I mean, if Tevin Jenkins, if he gets hurt again, if anything goes wrong, man, this versatility is something that we are going to be so happy that we have. And once again, too, this is a sign of a good front office. This is what says whether a draft is really good or not. It's not hitting on these blue chip players in the first and second round. I mean, most anyone can do that, even though it's not done successfully quite often. It's hitting on these players in the third and the fourth and beyond, and having those players come start for your team. And man, I think we found yet a third blue chip talent in Amegadjie in this draft. And better yet, he's also a homegrown Illinois product. He played his high school ball in state at Hinsdale High School. And while Amegadjie was often I mean, I love that, but his size, notably his 36 plus long arms, that allows him to stifle edge rushers. That's why many NFL teams see him as an elite left tackle. And his measurements are just crazy 6'5, 326 pounds, just a huge man. And better yet, an 85.5-inch wingspan. I mean, that's just crazy. So let's look at his in season performance. During the 2023 season, Amegadjie, he didn't allow a single sack, not one, in just one pressure in 128 pass blocking snaps in 4 games before suffering an injury in October that caused him not to be able to finish out the year. That really stinks, but this is super unfortunate. But there's a silver lining here for us, being Chicago Bears. The benefit to us is that this season for him, it was cut short, so his profile, it ended up lowering. So we were able to just now grab him here in the third. And this draft was the perfect opportunity that we took advantage of. We got a blue chip guy at quarterback and wide receiver. And then we still got this blue chip player for our offensive line. And yes, this guy is an absolute steal. I'm telling you, I've been following him the whole off season. And offensive tackle Kiran Amegadjie, he was projected by many draft experts to be selected anywhere from the late second round to the third round. This is a draft position that made him the highest drafted Bulldog since the Dallas Cowboys selected Jeff Rohr in 1982 in the second round of the 1982 NFL draft. And that's crazy to hear from Kian. This has been my dream for my whole life. When I came to Yale, I had this goal. When I walked on campus, I just worked at it day in and day out, and it wasn't easy, but it took a lot of consistent hard work. It took a lot of hard times for me to learn a lot of the lessons about myself along the way. But at the end of the day, football's a game, and I just love to play the game. And Amegadjie, he showed what he can do in 2022 as well. In 2022, he allowed 0 sacks, 2 pressures, and 301 pass blocking snaps at left tackle. But once again, the beautiful part In 2021, Amegadjie, he also lined up at left guard for a total of 693 snaps. That's not spot duty. That's not just I'll bounce around a little bit. Those are meaningful snaps, and it's just a fantastic thing. And after speaking at the combine, he shared that the interest moving inside it wasn't explored by other teams, but I believe the Bears are a bit different in that regard. It's widely expected he grades it, well, he has graded as a left tackle, right? But Chicago, they aren't afraid and they shouldn't be afraid to slide him hard if necessary and also provide competition for Braxton Jones from day one as well. And the Bears starting five before this, it was set from left to right. Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Ryan Bates, Nate Davis, Darnell Wright. And then we also have center and guard Coleman Shelton and tackle Matt Pryor. Their reserves of starting experience. I mean, Coleman Shelton was a fantastic starter at center for the LA Rams last year. And now Amegadjie, heel pressure to start at multiple positions. It's just absolutely perfect. And for Amegadjie, the NFL dream has now come to fruition. But that wasn't always the case. And I just like to take this opportunity. I like to dig into these players a little bit so we can get to know them here. I'll definitely get to his on field performance as well. And I'll also point you to this Yahoo grade on him. I'll save you the suspense. They gave this pick a B plus. I'm feeling greedy today. I want an A plus. I think it's an A. But if you get a chance, check out this profile, this rating on yahoosports.com. I always want to give credit. And I'm pulling some of these quotes from his school newspaper at Yale. So here we go. So going into his third year at Yale, the tackle, he already had NFL scouts coming to Yale practices. They're coming to games to see him perform, but all that stopped when he suffered this partial quad tendon tear just 4 games into the 2023 season. And he was left in limbo with the injury, right? Amegadjie, he was forced to reconsider whether returning to Yale would be a better option or if he should declare for the draft like he originally planned. I mean, that's a really tough decision. And to hear it from him, he said, I didn't know if I'd need another year and what teams really thought of me post injury. I've got a lot of good feedback from my agent, got a lot of good feedback from teams. And it just came down to the fact that my dream has always been to play in the NFL. So I thought, we got good feedback and there wasn't really a change in my draft stock. So I thought it was the best time for me to take this opportunity and achieve a lifelong dream. And despite not playing for much of the season, NFL scouts, they still held him in such high regard, especially given his experience at left tackle, one of the highest valued positions, of course. And he just has a pro-ready frame. He measures in at the combine at 6'5" and 323 pounds. That's so rare for an Ivy League player, and it helps get rid of concerns that some scouts have, rightfully so, about the lower level of play he faces in the Ancient Eight. That is their conference. The book on him is exactly this. The conference he plays in, I think, is immaterial. And this is a quote. Amegadjie, he looked exactly the way you want early round prospects to look at the FCS level. He was a tier above his opponents, and his physical profile, that should help him draw plenty of interest in the 2024 NFL draft. And I think it definitely drew the Bears' interest. And from a size and athletic standpoint, the guy just pops on film, rare length. And I would say he's a dancing bear, super light feet, smooth body control. He's able to, at his size, to still mirror pass rushers and create huge momentum with his size as well as a run blocker. But man, he just has great footwork. But the injury, it kept Amegadjie from performing any of the physical tests when he attended the NFL Combine, but his tape was so strong for games, the ones that he did play, especially in 2023, so impressive that it was enough to earn him an invite to participate in interviews with teams at the Combine anyway. And for Amegadjie playing out on the end of the line, That's just fine by him. And he noted his love for the physicality of the position. So check this out. He said, "My favorite play is duo out to the left. It's a super physical run scheme." And this is what he said when he was asked what his favorite play call was to get in the huddle. "Especially running to my side. I love that responsibility. So that was my favorite play that we ran." And whenever he does make his way into the starting lineup, he will have to face some of the best players in the world at their own jobs, right? However, he's not scared of the challenge. And this is what I love. The kid is just supremely confident. And that's why I'm so glad that he's a Bear. I mean, hear from him. I played a lot of good players. Back at guard, I played Travis Jones. He plays for the Ravens. That was only my first year and it was a challenge. But I'm excited for the jumping competition. Check this out. I'm excited to block Micah Parsons. I'm excited to block Miles Garrett. I'm excited to block all these guys. I think a lot of people aren't going to be surprised what I can do against these guys coming from the Ivy League, but I think I'm going to shock a lot of people. This guy is motivated to make a name for himself. He's coming from the Ivy League, his raw athletic ceiling. That's what makes him a prime target. That's why we invested in him with this third round pick. And I think he's going to develop into something special. Hear from him. I'm excited for the challenge, but those are just people that I've been watching for the last couple of years on TV, and you just watch them wreak havoc. And it's kind of weird to think about, like in a couple months, I'm going to have to stop him. It's super exciting. And it's also obviously just a surreal moment. Amegadjie does know, however, where he was going to be for the draft, and he stayed home in Chicago with friends and family, waiting for the call that he's dreamt about his whole life, and it turned out to be a great move. Welcome, Kiran Amegadjie. Welcome to come play football right down the street. It's so nice to have you in Chicago, and I just love how this draft is coming together. We're not one, not two, but three blue chip players here in this draft, and I can't say enough about how much I love this. You guys let me know what you think. I am sure you will. I don't have to tell you to. And thanks for your support. Bear down. We're going to cover the draft again later in the day. And hey, appreciate you all. See you soon.